Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cacawphony. I am your host, RWBY V7, and with me I have...
I'm FRZN.
I'm Tanaka McShnee.
I'm Dylan.
And today we will be talking about RWBY Volume 7, Chapter 8 on this New Year's episode. I hope everyone had a good holiday.
It was a holiday.
Certainly happened.
Yeah.
Well, I had an excellent holiday. But, so, this episode, we got our dinner party, which I think some people hoped this was going to be the fancy dress-up ball for Atlas, but that did not happen. Everyone just wore their normal clothing.
I was thinking more red wedding, but yeah, sure.
Hey, there's still time.
I was ready to see bodies dropping.
What if we get the purple wedding instead?
We may be about to see bodies dropping, but we'll get to that at the end. We first start off with everybody arriving at the Schnee Manor.
They have nice cars.
Fancy cars. This is one of the first locations we've seen in actually Atlas. I mean, we see Mantle all the time, but Atlas, we've mostly just seen the Academy.
Yeah, and it's weird because we were at the Schnee Manor in Volume 4, and we never sort of saw the outside, we just saw, like, the interior. And now we actually see what it looks like, and it's pretty fancy.
Yeah. It's got multiple towers around it, which seems to be either just random detail or something that could be noted for later.
And we note who Ironwood chose to bring with him. He brought all of the Aesops, he brought Winter, Penny, and Team RWBY and Juniper. Or, well, you know, Juniper with Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar. Shout out to the boy, the pine.
Yes. Shout out to...
Another thing I want to point out, though, is the Aesops arrived at a different colored vehicle, which...
Notice that.
Yeah, it's a tiny bit weird considering everybody else had just a plain white car. I'm not sure if it's just another random detail they put in, or if it means something for later in the series, considering everybody's theories about the Aesops, but...
Really isn't anything to look into too hard.
Fluff. All the fluff we need.
So much fluff.
Oh, I mean, Whitley answers the door, and he even kind of quips about how they brought an awful lot of people. I like James's line about, I happen to know your table is enormous. We find out that the client... Oh, yeah?
Flexing on them. Shows up with his whole squad, just saying, yeah, I know your table is massive, brah. Come on, you can fit every single one of these people over twice.
We find out that Klein was fired.
Poor Klein.
Which I guess isn't exactly a surprise, all things considered.
I mean, yeah, the butler closest to my daughter probably helped her escape.
Although, do you think, like, they only fired one personality and the other 6 are still on the payroll?
My question is, do the other personalities get paid separately after all? Or...
It's an easy guess and nothing.
Does he have to clock in, clock out differently? Like, what's going on there?
Clocks out 6 times at once.
So Weiss suggests that she snoop around, look for information, because they are suspicious of, well, of a lot of things. I mean, I think at the beginning they even suggested that Jacques might be working with Salem, and Weiss was like, yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it isn't too terribly far from the truth.
Isn't working directly for Salem. You know, he's working for Salem's upper management. That is Watts.
Yeah. But I do find it interesting that Weiss thinks so low of her father, who is, a pretty bad person from what we've seen, but thinks so lowly of her father that he would work with someone so, I guess, blatantly evil, who's been shown to.
Yeah, and personally, I don't think Jacques would ever knowingly work with Salem because it's just not good for business to bring about the end of the world.
I don't think Jacques knows who Salem is.
Right, of course.
Yeah, but it comes to the question. He probably still would work with Watts if he knew about Salem. That's the type of dude he is.
Maybe.
I definitely think it does play into the not knowing who you can really trust thing that this volume has going on, though. Strictly because, yeah, Jacques isn't working for Salem, but Team RWBY doesn't know what Jacques is up to.
We really don't know what Watts told him. I think if Jacques understood that this is going to be like the end of Atlas, he probably wouldn't have gone along with it. But on the other hand, Watts might have just told him, hey, dude, gonna hack the election so you win.
Well, the problem was Jacques wanted to do cuts to people to jobs and also win the election at the same time.
Right.
And then he's like, okay, I'll hack it so you win and you can cut your jobs and I won't tell you anything else. And Jacques like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, the fact that he still cut the jobs even after it was pretty clear that he was going to win, it usually you wouldn't cut jobs if you're trying to win something, but it just does kind of show how much he values money over people.
Right. But, so Whitley gets in the way of Weiss snooping around. Do you think that Jacques specifically told him to do that, or do you think he's just Whitley being Whitley?
I think Whitley just wants to speak to his sister. He hasn't seen her in a while.
I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. He said, keep an eye on your sister. Well, and he's just like, all right, how do I be annoying to my older sister?
And considering what they revealed later in the episode about Whitley, I wouldn't be surprised. Jacques' wrath or trying to stay in his good graces.
Fortunately, Juniper comes to the rescue with Operation Mess Up Whitley.
That nearly went to crap, but luckily the rambunctious woman threw her wine in distress.
What a legendary chain of events.
So if he's purple, would he be like violetly or...
No, he's still shitly.
Winely? Yeah, sure, Winely. So that'll...
The hair was pretty cool, though, the color.
Oh, yeah.
More fun times with Juniper are always nice.
I do quite enjoy Ren's little smirk.
Dude, smug Ren.
Oh, Renora fighting right now. They're both on the same page about fucking with Whitley. So then we cut over to the dinner confrontation between Jacques and Ironwood.
Yeah, and the random counselors who are like...
Right, yeah.
Okay.
At this point, we see the entire Atlas Council. What were the other two counselors' names? One of them was Sleet, and the other one, do you guys remember?
No. Okay. I'm a professional. I know no names.
Don't...
We see the other two counselors, and also Robin is there, surprisingly.
Okay.
Surprisingly, because she's like a wanted woman right now.
The one
Ironwood
thing I will say about Robin's placement as the table, it does show that she doesn't quite like either Jacques or Ironwood.
Which is hardly a surprise.
Yeah, she's sat right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe that's like a bit of like representation of like maybe we should support Robin a bit more because the other two are pretty extreme. Like the middle, equilibrium. Just help us.
I think all three factions are extreme in their own ways. I mean, they all have different goals. The fact that Robin and Jacques actually align more than Ironwood and Jacques currently is kind of funny, but they all have their own sets of objectives.
It's mostly because at least Jacques' more open goal of getting the SDC money again means more jobs for the people down in Mantle, and you need jobs to live.
Neither one of them like the fact that Ironwood is squirreling all of these resources away for Amity, and neither one of them really understands what they're for.
I think Jacques has an idea now, though. I think maybe Watts is like... Watts probably knows, and
he could have.
He seemed to be, tapping his nose, saying, "I fucking know what you're doing,"
I mean, it could be that Watts told him, but I mean, Jacques even mentions that the counselors don't know.
Yeah.
Jacques annoys Winter enough that makes it snap and then pulls out.
I mean, Jacques does a good job of controlling the conversation. The first thing he does is bring up like Penny possibly having like killed a bunch of people.
And then Ironwood's like, "That's doctored footage, no proof."
And it's funny the way he says like Penny is completely under my control, and Jacques is like, "Yeah, that's what I'm worried about."
It's like, did you try and kill a few of Robin's people? Were you trying to...
It's honestly a tiny bit scary how good Jacques is at controlling a conversation like this. Everything goes the way he intended. Either that or he's an expert at improvising.
I mean, when you're a good manipulator, it's a little bit of both. You plan out the broad strokes, and then as things happen, you change up your plan to take advantage of what other people say. Like, I don't know if he was intentionally trying to get Winter to blow up, but he could have been.
It's certainly...
I imagine he knows his daughter enough to know how to annoy her and get her to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did leave for a reason. And it certainly wasn't because he's Dad of the Year material.
Then again, Tai Yang is sitting at home and Gira, and their kids left them as well.
Different reasons, though.
Yeah.
Well, Jacques is the only one who has a kid at home, so maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that kid is shitly.
But yeah, so this conversation really brings up a lot of interesting stuff, like the fact that even the council has no idea what's going on with Amity. That surprised Robin a lot.
Yeah, it's only Ironwood and his inner circle who knows, and
I mean, Jacques brings up kind of a good point about trust. Like, if Ironwood isn't telling them anything, then yeah, maybe he isn't entirely trustworthy. Team RWBY knows what he's up to, and even they're questioning him.
Well, yeah, and after Nora in the last episode was like, "So you crap out, Ironwood." It's like, Ironwood seems to be the only one fully confident in his plan, and not sharing it is a good idea. Everyone else seems to be like, just tell him or do something else.
In a way, it kind of does mirror what Team RWBY's doing with hiding the fact about Salem. Is that RWBY seems to be the only one absolutely sure that telling Ironwood isn't the best idea.
Well, I think Blake supported that decision.
But keeping secrets is a theme of this volume, and I'm sure it's going to blow up in everyone's face.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Whose secrets are coming out first and in what way?
They'll probably get Ironwood's secrets out first because there's actual pressure on him from a lot of sides, whereas RWBY's only getting pressure from like some of her teammates, and they're kind of lukewarm about pressuring her because, you know, it's RWBY and she's adorable.
Do you think there's anything Ironwood should have done differently here? Like, do you think he should have told the council something?
I think
that Amity is going to be used for a new communications tower?
I mean, Robin already knows something about Amity due to Blake and Yang, but I think Ironwood should be starting with half-truths. Not saying, oh yeah, here's every little detail, but oh, it's for a new communications tower so we can reopen the borders and reestablish a more secure connection with the world. Because it's not totally a lie.
I mean, I think giving them something would be a good idea, especially because, like, if it's a matter of security, this is the leaders of the country. This is the Atlas heads of the state.
Pointing that out does make it kind of concerning how much control the military does have. Or even the council doesn't know what's going on.
I mean, isn't there 5 council seats, and Ironwood holds 2, and then the other 3 are spread across those 3? I believe he has his own, and as general and headmaster of Atlas Academy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one is like the head of the military, and one is the head of the academy.
Yeah.
So he holds, you know, 2/5 of the power within Atlas.
It's pretty clear that these other two, who we got introduced to for the first time, they're pretty weak. Like, they weren't standing up to him at all until they had Jacques there to kind of lead them.
Yeah. Well, before, I don't know who held the council seat before. Because there was someone who was on Ironwood's side or just indifferent. The two that are there were probably always against Ironwood, but now that they have the advantage with Jacques on their side, it seems that they feel more freely to speak out against him.
Do we want to move on to the conversation between Winter and Penny?
I think we should point out exactly how Winter blows up, though.
Yeah.
Because the line she says about you can't just buy trust, it seems oddly personal.
Yeah, right. I mean, we hear her yell, you can't just buy trust like everything else. I mean, clearly, we know that she has a bad history with Jacques. I mean, he's her shitty dad. But we don't know about if there was anything specific that really drove them apart, or if it was just Jacques generally being an asshole.
Well, I imagine it's like when in Volume 3, where he cut off Wife's cards and were like, yeah, I'm not sending you any more money. It's like trying to buy their love with money, and when they don't respond to that, he's just like, alright, screw you.
So, but after Winter blows up like that, she leaves and Penny goes after her. So, what did we think of this conversation?
Penny needs a hug.
He does need a hug.
Penny
Winter kind of needs a hug too.
Somebody hug every child in this, please.
This scene really kind of stands out. It's not that hard to see what's going on. You've got a robot trying to be more human, talking to a human who's trying to be more robotic.
I think because everything we've seen of Winter is cold, calm, collected, but caring. Say that 5 times fast. Her blowing up because she wasn't in control of the conversation because her father knows what buttons to push. It definitely gets more to her than it might have with Penny, who was raised by a caring father and was probably told, hey, speak from your heart. You know, you can be honest with people. So Penny not having the experience of having to tiptoe around conversation and maintain a perfect mask of control just so you don't get a weakness exposed. It's kind of rough seeing how Penny reacts.
Penny is also like 3 years old.
Yeah.
Winter says, like, you wouldn't understand, you know, I need to be in control all the time. And Penny's like, you're right, I don't understand. I don't understand why you would want to turn off your humanity like that.
Everybody's just offending Penny this episode. Like, first Ironwood's like, oh yeah, she's under my control, and Penny just kind of gets sad because it's a reminder, oh yeah, she's not human. And Winter accidentally says, you know, implies that Penny won't understand how she feels because Penny's an android. And it's just like, oh, you poor sweet summer child.
People need to stop being rude to Best Robot.
Yeah. Everybody be nice to Penny. At least she has Ruby. Ruby's always nice to her.
She's a normal meat person, just like us.
And Pyrrha was always nice to... Oh, wait, never mind.
Oh, no.
Oof. Thanks for those memories.
They weren't so good.
It's the main event. The main event.
You're talking about the
main event
the
of
conversation
Willow's
with Willow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Weiss's mom.
We've collected all 4 of the Infinity Moms. Now when we snap, a new generation will be born.
The newest addition to John's and Milk Squad now that the Thirsty Moms are gone.
It's...
So we see her in Jacques' office, and Weiss talks to her. And she's drinking. In fact, I think she might have gone into Jacques' office to get more alcohol.
I mean, considering that the waitress who encounters Weiss in the hallway is carrying 3 wine glasses quite far away from a party is kind of, I guess, foreshadowing for what was to come not even 20 seconds later. But it really does kind of put into perspective how much Willow drinks.
Yeah. I mean, we see her swinging we see her drinking vodka right from the bottle, just right in front of Weiss.
Not only
Pour
that,
the vodka down the hatch.
She pours the vodka into the glass, and then takes the bottle down.
The glasses are for scrubs.
Just like every college student at a frat party.
Just when Crow was getting over his alcoholism.
Even denied a drink this episode. He was like, nah, I don't do that.
I'm very proud of him.
The show's got to have its token alcoholic.
Willow, for a second, she seemed to forget that Weiss had left and frankly be kind of confused. Like, do you think she was drunk, or do you think she's starting to experience like some kind of dementia, or what do you think's going on?
Both?
I just think she's so disconnected from the world. She gets up, she drinks, she goes to bed. She gets up, she drinks, she goes to bed. She's so disconnected. She does not have a clue what's going on.
Wasn't it vaguely implied that Weiss, even though they were living under the same roof, didn't see much of Willow to begin with because of her drinking habits?
Yeah.
We could probably theorize were started by Jacques or because of Jacques.
I mean, they're definitely because of Jacques.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's basically told her, yeah, I don't love you, I just married you because you have a rich name.
Big yikes.
Now I can control your dad's company.
I feel really bad for the Schnees. Like,
yeah, the real Schnees, not that fake ass Jacques Schnee shit.
because it's like, oh yeah, we have this good company that, you know, provides dust to the world, and then some dude just swags up, goes, hey, let me marry your daughter, Mr. Schnee, and then ruins the reputation of the company.
They had a better reputation under Nicholas. We don't actually know what kind of person he was. He could have been a dick.
I mean, why seems to want to live up to his memories? I imagine he must be decent enough.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, it could also be one of those things where, like, I mean, considering everybody she knows is limited to, from what we know, the Schnees and their rich friends, that's not, yeah, I can see how literally anyone would be an improvement.
Yeah.
Like, yikes, my dude.
And Willow comes in clutch with the, hey, guess what? I put cameras everywhere.
Which, yeah, that does have implications of if they've been up the entire time. She saw Jacques slap the hell out of Weiss.
Yeah. I mean, she said she put them up for our safety and in case I ever needed to something. I don't know, to prove his abuse, to, like, leave
Blackmail.
Safely.
Mr. Schnee, we're asking you to resign from the council. Your domestic violence charges are coming in.
Don't worry, I have enough money for that.
The video leaked. You best resign.
It's on YouTube now.
He's like, Jacques, why don't you take a seat right over there?
Just take a seat, man. We need to talk.
I mean, it kind of, earlier in the volume, it kind of implied that Ironwood somewhat knew that Jacques was abusive to his family, based on how protective he got over Weiss when Jacques was threatening her. And gaslighting her. So,
I mean, you could imagine Winter might have told him something.
Yeah, it might be a very open secret type thing.
But these cameras are important because they capture Jacques' conversation with Watts.
Oh boy. Now we get to play a game of who's this douchebag until Ironwood or somebody else goes, oh, here's some exposition.
Oh, I recognize that mustache.
Do you think we'll tell them who Watts is? Is it going to be Pietro or Ironwood? Because I imagine it's one of those.
There with them, but could be either way.
But they're all on the don't trust Ironwood thing, and you know.
I think it would be really dumb not to show him this, but yeah, you know, we'll see.
Ironwood might not even know who Watts is. We don't actually know how old Watts is, so I imagine Pietro has a good idea.
Pietro's team.
That's a better idea, probably, and would give
You're
more
right.
information.
Pietro would immediately recognize.
For what, you son of a bitch?
The other thing is, if Watts can control, like, everything, I would imagine he has something that, like, sets off, oh, someone has a recording of my face. Not anymore.
I mean, that would
I don't know.
only...
It's private cameras.
Yeah.
It's also, he only has control over Mantle. The Atlas tech was upgraded in the code.
Well, I think he's in now. Now, with his Schnee connections, he might be in.
Yeah, but I don't think Jacques would be like, yeah, you control the electric in my house. All the technology. You can have everywhere else except my home. I don't want you looking at my internet search history, what?
Would surprise. It's possible that the cameras don't capture audio. Like we're not sure.
I don't imagine they would.
Also, what would Jacques' search history even be? How to abuse my workers without getting disposed of? Like, how to get away
It'd
with
be like,
slavery?
What is minimum wage for fauna in Atlas?
How to be a dick in 10 easy steps.
Do you really need an HR team?
Yeah, but now they have a way to figure out that Watts is involved with all of this. But before Willow leaves, she says, "Don't forget about Whitley." What do you guys think about this?
It kind of confirms a fan theory about Whitley that's been floating around since its introduction, which is, oh, Whitley isn't a complete ass bag. He's just this way to survive an abusive household.
I wouldn't even call it so much of a fan theory. I mean, it's obvious he's in an abusive household. The fact that he's a dick means, just means that that's how he's surviving.
Have we forgotten what Volume 1 Weiss was like?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was just Whitley.
Yeah. But I kind of want to know what Whitley was like before Weiss and Winter left, just to see if it was just a thing to adapt to, oh, now I'm the only child here to be targeted by Jacques.
We don't know.
You think about it before it was, I imagine Willow has been disconnected for a while, drinking anyway, and so it's the three siblings left to fend for one another. And then Winter leaves, and it's just Weiss and Whitley, and then Weiss leaves, leaving Whitley and basically Jacques alone. And
that's what Willow says.
His clothing.
That's what Willow says. Of course he doesn't like you. You left him here with us. Yeah. Which I agree with, but at the same time, hey, it's also kind of your job to take care of him. Like, you're his mom.
I mean, hey, we've got 4 sets of parents. Not all of them are going to be winners, okay?
Well, as a half, RWBY has, supposedly 2. Blake definitely has 2 good parents, and Weiss has
Penny as best parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally giving his life to give his daughter one.
Yeah. Ren and Nora between them have 0 parents.
Parents left.
Honestly, Jean should have just brought all his siblings to Beacon, because you could have had 2 full teams of ARC.
And you just use their last name for the team name, so it's Team
Team Team
Team
One in lowercase, one in all caps.
One in bold. Ooh, we'll make this one italic.
What do you guys think? Do you think Whitley is going to get some kind of redemption, or Weiss is actually going to look out for him in some way, or anything?
It's being set up.
So.
I hope so, but I also have a vague theory that Jacques is going to get got, and inexperienced Whitley is going to get bullied by Watts after taking over the company. So
I mean, it does come down
Possible.
to someone needs to look after that company while Weiss and Winter are working, and Jacques is, gone because he's gonna go. He's a bad guy. He's not staying in power for long.
yeah. I mean, I hope Whitley gets a redemption arc. I really do.
I mean,
He's a good boy.
I mean, the only redemption arc we've had so far is like Ilya and maybe Raven. We're not sure.
Raven didn't even. Raven barely had an arc other than Yang going, "Hi, you're dumb. Bye." Thanks for
There is
the
no
arc."
beating Salem.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. Second, I'm taking the relic.
Hey, Mom, can I take your keys? No? Okay, I'm taking the relic itself then. Bye.
Leaves.
I hope we get something from Whitley. I don't want him to just die or anything.
Yeah. Platos, he takes over the company and immediately goes, "Oh yeah, Dad, screw you. Faunus rights."
We finally come to our last scene of the chapter where Watts, up on a rooftop for some reason, turns off the heat to Mantle.
The energy bills were too high.
It's just going to put more pressure on Ironwood, I imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really bad news, though, because, this is the Arctic tundra. That heat is, the only thing keeping everybody alive.
Well, if we go back to Weiss's comment about how it's so cold that people can die in a matter of hours if they don't have a projected aura, think about most of the children who probably don't have their aura unlocked, much less mastered to the point where they can project it.
It basically means that Atlas is going to have to start moving people from Mantle to Atlas quickly.
Yeah.
It is funny that,
Exactly.
even if he is a hacker and, hacked in and turned off the heat, wouldn't you think they could just turn it back on?
I'm just imagining them sitting there for hours, turning it back on as Watts just sits there pressing a button on his scroll.
Off, on, off, on,
It's
off,
like that.
on.
It's like the useless box.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are going to freeze to death. That's going to be fun, so...
My question is, everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, Atlas is going to get colony dropped onto Mantle." Would it be more devastating if you had more people in Atlas or more people in Mantle? Because moving people up to Atlas... Watts is really putting everybody into a no scenario here.
I mean, you're really asking for it. If you have the bravado to make a floating city, you're just asking for it to be dropped.
Yeah, I mean, how many different pieces of media have that exact thing in it?
Yeah, just don't have the bravado to make a floating city, and it won't drop. Make an underground city that can have a cave in instead. Be inventive.
That's gonna
Tried
be
that with Mountain Glen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys think this is going to be we've had a couple of scenes where we kind of thought, oh, is this going to be the big grim attack? Everything goes to crap, Fall of Beacon style. Do you think this is going to be it?
I mean, we haven't had a Fall of Beacon moment because Volume 4 was just random little moments. You had the Nook Larvae as your final boss.
Mm-hmm.
Volume 5, I don't think any Grim were in the show past episode 2. Volume 6 had the large kaiju at the end.
Yeah, the Pacific Rim fight.
Yeah. That got knocked over rather quickly. His name is Bubbles.
I don't know if it's... Honestly, I think it could be more destructive than the Fall of Beacon, which would really be upping the stakes of the show.
They could lose all of Mantle. They really could.
I mean, say Atlas goes down, there's no heat in Atlas if it goes down.
Yeah.
You basically kill the entire kingdom.
Okay, my question is, if we do have another Fall Beacon situation, who's next on the death list? I mean, Penny's a given, considering she died last time.
And we've even established
already-
how she can permanently die.
Yeah.
Yeah, just no one can give her an aura. It's got to be Winter.
Winter seems
No
likely.
way. Powers, and then either Cinder, Neo, or Weiss are probably going to get them, I imagine.
I'd imagine Weiss. Strictly because it depends. If she dies from Cinder, Cinder is going to get them.
Yeah, I see Weiss as a possibility because, you know, maybe Winter bleeds out in Weiss's arms. Who knows? Rabble, rabble.
Oof.
Maybe that's what brings Whitley and Weiss closer together. Also, I imagine that I don't know if Atlas is going to fall. I think the threat will be Atlas of falling, but they might be able to save it just in time.
I mean, what I'm imagining is something happens to the Winter Maiden or something whack like that because the relic is what's holding Atlas up.
So if they take out the relic, the whole thing comes down.
The entire colony drops and just decimates Mantle.
That would be like even the fall of Beacon. That was bad news, but Vale as a kingdom survived. That would just be the end of a kingdom. Like thousands or millions of people would die.
Which I don't want to say I want to see it happen, but for the sake of narrative and consequences, I
You
think
monster.
so. But
So, yeah, and it's really weird because after last time we, you know, Mistral got off with, you know, nothing. Mistral had like a broken wall.
yeah,
That was their damage. So, yeah, Beacon gets the fall of Beacon, and we'll see Atlas actually fall.
I think this is going to be the beginning of the end. I think, turning off the heat is going to bring everything to a big climax.
I mean, we only got a few more, 5 more episodes.
We have 9 elf. Do we have
13.
13th?
Yeah, so,
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah. That's 5 more episodes.
yeah, I'd imagine everything's going to start wrapping up for this volume. And considering...
Episode 9 last time was that was the Pyrrha episode last volume.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get one more slow episode and then go into like the finale sort of thing. The finale stretch.
Big.
I'm calling because I hate myself and I want pain. If we do have a Fall of Beacon type thing, I'm calling both Ren and Nora.
Oh, you
No, not now.
I mean,
not when they just kissed. Oh wait,
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
You already know.
Is that everything we have to say about the episode?
Just quickly, Clover is totally on my death list as well.
Could be, yeah. I mean, something's gonna happen to the Aesops. Either some traitors, or they die or something.
If one of them were to survive, I'm guessing it'd be Marrow.
Yeah, they'd better not kill Marrow.
Bad luck. If he dies, it's going to be bad luck, and maybe Crow will get even more depression. Somebody hug that recovering alcoholic, please.
That everything? Do we have anything else to say?
I don't think so.
Right, well then I guess we'll just sign off then. This has been the Cacawphony. I am your host, HeaderLive2. With me I have...
Frozen Air.
Tanaka McShnee.
One.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next time on the Cacawphony. Bye!